Hi there. Thelema, which is a philosophical occult system for Aleister Crowley, claims to be Gnostic in the sense that it involves an inner knowing, and it is also a secret knowledge. And I think by this is meant that if you consider the main aphorism of Thelema, which is do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law, love is the law, love under will, you can sort of appreciate the statement that's been made on the intellectual level, but you need to kind of look at it from different levels, I suppose. Whenever I hear that aphorism or maxim or law, um, it I kind of have this image of this arrow going up like this, sort of maybe it's like a rune, tier rune, I think, isn't it? TYR, and so I see this rune, and I also kind of have a vague colour in front of me as well. And there's a kind of perhaps a feeling of deja vu. I don't know, picture of a meadow or something, or a gate with a wrought iron gate, like those sort of gates that you see in parks or cemeteries. And so images come into you. Um, and perhaps memories as well, memories of childhood, memories of weather, um, memories of people that you once admired or still admire, living or dead. So there's a lot of images and a lot of experiences that come into one's mind whenever you hear "Do What Thou Wilt." It even has a sort of a kind of a feeling on one's heart chakra as well, to put it in New Age parlance. Um, and it sort of has a physiological effect even, to dwell upon the maxim of the law. So it's not about the words, it's about what the words invoke within the person. So I think it's like in Gnosticism, there are various Gnostic aphorisms, the Gospel of Thomas and the Gospel of Philip and other sources, and they have all these different physiological effects with images and sensations, and perhaps even a remembered sense of smell or something, or fragrance fills the room. It's, I mean, and these are things which are supposed to be kind of like, English. I mean, they're not written in Vedic Sanskrit, which is a special language, which only the gods can really appreciate and the priests really appreciate. So it's not any sort of special. I mean, there's ancient Greek, which is a pretty special language, but it's not a very sacred language. It just has a different effect on you. Um, so what is Thelema? I mean, sometimes I think people also secret monger, and they say that this is a great secret. Um, I think it's only secret because the meaning of Thelema has an internal meaning as well as an external meaning, but it just means will. But what do we really mean by will? And as I thought about this, I thought of the four aces and the tarot pack, because they seem to exemplify basically what Thelema really basically means. And Thelema is it's not that it's kind of simple to understand, but pretty hard to put into practice. I mean, if you take the ace of swords, referring to the tarot card of Aleister Crowley, which is a Thoth tarot deck, and the ace of swords, and a sword has two edges to it. And to my mind, my contemplation is that you have a single idea which fulfills the very secret and the very profound um, need that you might have. You experience something, usually when you're a child, people think of Mozart, he experienced the keyboard or the violin, He just couldn't stop himself after that. Um, and so, you know, you have an idea, sort of, well, it's not really even yes, it's a single need and a single idea. And that idea totally perfectly fulfills that need. And it's something that you just sort of come across, really. Somebody introduces you to something like origami or something, or knitting, and it just fulfills a need. You just can't stop yourself. You have to do it, sort of thing. So, but it's not a kind of unhealthy obsession. It's just a, well, it is an obsession. And I mean, with Wunderkids, you know, you can't have them playing the violin all day and every day. They've got to play football, and you know, they've got to go out and meet people and have girlfriends and boyfriends and go to parties and do all their ordinary schoolwork as well. You know, they've got to be around it. You've got to, as a parent or guardian, you've got to make sure that, you know, they're not just playing the violin all day every day because that's what they want to do. They're obsessed with it, really. So you've got to get them outside, you know, into the air and the four elements kind of thing. That's kind of important. So, you know, you're not talking. There's a balance in the Ace of Swords, but it kind of unites need and idea, or set of ideas. And you know, if you have an idea about how the needs of the many could be fulfilled, then you're going to make millions and millions of dollars. There's no doubt about that. All other things being equal, and then you know, having got this idea or set of ideas, um, or set of a skill set that you developed, um, or you do some training which inspires you, or you go to university and do a set of courses which inspire you, something like that. We look at the Ace of Discs. You know, they say about the film industry, they say people work 18 hours a day, and they don't even realize it. They get up, they go to work, they love work. I mean, they love it. They have to stop them. I mean, after 18 hours, you have to say to people, it's time to go home now. It's time to go to bed. Because otherwise they just carry on all, you know, and it's effortless. You know, people work, when they're really doing what they want to do, everything is effortless. You know, you work 16, 18 hours a day. As I say, where have the hours gone? You know, you're doing something you love. But it's not, it could be not just movie making. I mean, you know, I worked as a shelf filler in a fruit and veg shop for years. I just loved it. You know, I worked 8 hours a day and I worked flat out. I didn't notice the time. I just loved doing it. You know, it's just me. I love being practical and I love filling those shells, and it was immaculate. The shop was immaculate every day. They called me the V8 engine of that shop. I mean, I was a shelf stacker extraordinaire. I was obsessed with it, really. And the boss was fantastically pleased because, you know, hard to get people to do that kind of menial job and really enjoy it. But I loved it. I loved it. It was me. It was just me. I was doing what I wanted to do, really. I did it for 6 years. Very busy shop. You know, I mean, in the summer, worked out we used to put out a metric ton, right? Like 20 bags of new potatoes every single day for the summer. Went on and on. I mean, you know, the work was incredible. And I became so fit, super, super physically fit. And I just loved it. It was not a menial job for me. It was like, you know, my true will, I suppose. I was doing my true will, just filling shells. It's great. Oh, well, I mean, I went home, did other things. I wrote poetry, music, thought about Gnosticism. But the day job was so great, you know. So that's the aces. You know, it's like the physical work, the actual material work is nothing to you, effortless. And you know, and it could be a hard job. But other people could say, I don't know how you do that job day in, day out. I really don't know. I couldn't do it. I go mad. That's because they're not doing their true will. That's why they couldn't do it. What about the Ace of Cups? that single chalice represents the flow of the universe, right? When you're doing your true will, you are flowing with the universe, because the universe wants every man, every woman to be a star. Well, you are a star. You don't realize it yet, but when you do realize it and you're doing your true will, I mean, you are going with the flow of the universe. You are going with the impetus of the universe, and it is a flow. You're a stream of water, okay, and anything that you come across, any obstacles, challenges, you roll right over them, or you find some tricky way to get past the challenge, past the thing that's preventing you. So one way or the other, you go with the flow, and the flow takes you to where you want to go. No matter what obstacles in your way, it doesn't matter. You overcome them. Usually through experience, training, qualifications, whatever, apprenticeship. Like Ty Lopez says, go work for people for nothing. You want to learn the business from the inside. Don't charge people money. Don't charge the boss money. You're an apprentice. You don't get paid. You know what I mean? Because you're getting to know the business from the inside, and you're getting to know all the secrets, stuff that people take years and years to fathom out, and you're going to learn them all. So you're going with the flow. You have a business idea. It just goes. And then finally, the Ace of Wands, the tip of the yod. Well, it's just the tip of the yod. It's the spark of fire. It's what this means basically is that often through life, no matter, and you're on a roll, but often you'll come to a crossroads. Do I go left or do I go right? And you're on your trajectory. You're fulfilling your destiny. Everything is effortless. You've got your idea fulfilling your need. But yes, sometimes, shall I go left or right? Don't know what to do, right? And you just come to the crossroads and you make a decision, you go with it. And it's the right decision because you are working on the unconscious level. You're sleepwalking. You're not full of worry or greed. Greed is worry, really. You don't have any fear. There is no fear. Fear not, neither be afraid. You make a decision, you go with that decision, and that decision turns out to be right. Maybe I was thinking of that film, the Men Who Stare at Goats, and he comes to the crossroads and says, do I go left or right? And my intuition tells me to go left. So they go left, but they hit a bomb in the road, right? It blows the car up. But because they went that way, and because they got blown up, and because they went across the desert, the film, everything works out for them. So, if they'd gone right, they wouldn't have got blown up. But because they went left and got blown up, everything else unfolded as it should. The universe is unfolding as it should. And you are flowing with that universe. So, you can't go wrong. And even if people say, I don't know why you decided to do that, that seems a bit risky, you go with it. You go with it because ultimately it will be the right decision. Every decision that you make will ultimately be the right decision when you're doing your true will. And but often, do what thou wilt is an existential law. It comes from love God and do what thou wilt, Saint Augustine. And a lot of people, if you're a theist, you want to go with love God and do what thou wilt. So, as you're doing your true will, and so it's in two parts. There's the true will of your individual will, and then there's doing it for God. People say, I'm doing God's will. I'm actually doing it for God. Okay. God's will, your will, the will of the universe, all flowing together. Three streams flowing as one. It's a trinity, really. Your will and God's will and the will of the universe. Even the will of the demiurge. So this is where the sort of Gnostic comes in, because, on one hand, Thelema says you can't reject this world. Asceticism. It says in the Book of the Law that you won't find the priests of Thelema or the prophets of Thelema in the desert. You'll find them in luxurious beds with prostitutes and drugs and rich wine and stuff like that. They'll be indulging themselves. But On the other hand, be not animal. Okay, so indulge, but with a panache, with a style. Not animal, not brew crew. Not getting out of order on drugs, not getting really really hung up. Keeping your wits about you. I mean, sophisticated indulgence, really. So you got on that on. It's got these two kind of. Do you become ascetic, or do you become indulgent, or maybe the two cross over to each other? But down the middle, there's this sort of true will. So you're in the world, and not of the world. So you're not being materialistic. I mean, you're not doing it for the money. You're doing it for your true will. You're doing it because you can't help doing it. You've got a business idea. You can't help but develop that idea. You can't help but getting a fantastic team together who will realize the business plan, the business mission, and well, it just comes. I mean, it's just easy. Well, it's not easy. As you say, you're working 18 hours a day. It's not easy, and there may be hiccups along the way. There may be massive challenges. There may be massive upsets. You start a thing called Spotify, and all the lawyers are after you. Where's our royalties? You thief, and you get into a lot of bad press, and things are rough. And sometimes things fail, and you learn from your failure. But even when you're failing, you're still succeeding. This is a funny thing. When you're doing your true will, you could have failure, but even the failure is part of the learning process. It's part of the flow. So you're not kicked off your perch and lay on the ground feeling sorry for yourself. You get up and dust yourself up and start all over again, because you're still going with the flow, even though someone kicked you off the perch, or you drop too much success maybe, and whoa, too much spending. You should have taken notice of your accountants, but maybe not really, because what do accountants know about making money? They don't know anything. That's why they're accountants, because they're losers anyway. They're just handling other people's money, because they haven't got any money of their own. Neither have they got any panache for making money. You see, but sometimes the accountants are right, and sometimes things happen, and you make a screw up of things, and that's okay as well. Because you're still on this trajectory. You're still following the path of your true will. And other people may be nasty to you. Other people, you may make enemies along the way. Jealousy. Other people that have lost, losers, want to take you down. They want to make life difficult for you. So that comes into it as well. And as brothers fighty, as it says in the Book of the Law. So you might have fights with your business partners, with your business team. People would try and rip you off. People may even try and shoot you. You might have to get some bodyguards. It happens. Like, people are nasty to you on Twitter. Never mind. You're doing your true will. That's the bottom line, you see. So, it's a secret. You know what you're doing is your true will. So I suppose it's secret. You can't even sometimes put it into words. I mean, you're doing things in the material world. You are in this world, but you're not of this world. But you're still doing really, really well in this world. You're still an unstoppable force, and that surprises the demiurge, because the demiurge likes fear. It likes everybody, doing the same thing. It likes everybody to toe the line. When you've got somebody thinking outside the box, making a ton of money, making a fantastic business, it makes the demiurge sit up and think, what's going on? Someone's a rival to me, and it's kind of like cheeky. You're sort of, yeah, you could be a rival. I mean, people say it's a bit materialistic, but you could be a rival, the demiurge. You can play his game and win, play the greatest game and win, right? I mean, okay, as I say, it's not for the money, and sometimes, you're going to have to give it all away, like the 10 of discs, found a library, find, put all your money into charity or into education or whatever, give it all away. Do you know what I mean? It's only money. You make millions and millions, and I'll do something mad with it, and it all goes wrong and I got nothing left. Well, it doesn't matter. It's that kind of thing. I mean, you did your true will. You are doing your true will. You did your true will. You will do your true will, because you're doing your secret essence. You are aligning yourself with being a star. Every man, every woman is a star. And a star is exploding. It's a sun. It's exploding. A thermonuclear explosion. Can't stop it. You can't stop it. You can't cool it down, and you can't. People are on a roll. People are powering ahead with their career. An unstoppable force. Okay. You made banana skins, right? Plenty of banana skins. Plenty of stupid mistakes you can make. Plenty of things you can't see the wood for the trees. All that's going to happen. But the gnosis is that you know yourself. You're working off your unconscious mind, and the unconscious mind, what you know of yourself is the tip of the iceberg, but your unconscious mind goes deep, deep down into the ocean of possibility, the ocean of potential, and that's where you're drawing it from. You're drawing from this huge reservoir of everything that you know. Like people have a business acumen. It's coming from the unconscious mostly. I mean, I know you need training and education and experience, whatever. You need to start at the bottom and work yourself up the business. You can't just go into things with an NA business and think you're going to succeed. You've got to be, making the cups of tea for the people that are successful before you can become successful yourself. That's a given. But you're drawing on this urge. You're drawing on this need. This idea, this perfection that you already know you have. It's just a matter of manifesting it. But what de-manifests is fear and greed, and fear, really. If you're frightened about what you're doing, if you stumble, they stumble who run fast. But also, if you stumble out of fear, if you doubt yourself, if you allow other people to create doubt within you, the sort of black magicians that create doubt, the naysayers, they're the black magicians, the losers that tweet you negativity. You know what I mean? Negative people, right? If you let them pull you down to their level, go into fear, then you immediately block up your true will. It stems up. It blocks up. So magic. What's magic? Very briefly, magic is about finding out who you are, but it's about about releasing this reservoir of unconscious power that you have. Every man, every woman is a star, but you don't know it. You're looking at the black space. You're not looking at who you really are, which is this incredible individual that can do anything, literally anything, and do things that people will say, "How did he do that? How did he do that?" You have to, sometimes you have to start young, but people have been late bloomers as well. Middle-aged people started writing novels, fantastic success, first time. Other people start when they're 3 years old on something, and never look back. It's their life, a total life. And they're always going to make money out of what they do, and they're always going to be in demand because they're the best, and what the best is, it has that sheen to it, right? When people are doing their true will, what they produce has this kind of sheen. It has this kind of completeness. It has this kind of sparkle. It has this kind of joie de vivre, kind of like it's meant to be there. Do you know what I mean? Everything they do is kind of meant. Nothing is accidental. It's all crafted to the minutest detail. And the devil's in the detail, right? And these people have the detail. They have the broad strokes and they have the detail, and they balance the two. Brilliant, amazing. But this is all possible. You can find this within magic. Magic is about releasing this. It's also about releasing you from the naysayers of your childhood, the people that pulled you down and said you never amount to do anything, and you can't do this and you can't do that, and oh, that sounds a bit risky, you know. Oh, they make you go into fear. I mean, Molyneux has all this, you know. Your parents are your worst enemies, and they're trying to protect you, you know. You know what? Oh no, they're trying to protect you, you know. Don't fall down, dear. You might hurt yourself, you know. Don't eat earth. Yes, eat earth. Fall over lots. Don't take any notice. You know, you think you're protecting me. You're not protecting me. You know, you're stunting me. You know. You're protecting me. You know, all tyrants say they're protecting people. You know, even the tyrants that don't even know they're tyrants. Oh, I'm protecting you. I want you to be safe. I want you to be secure. No, you don't. You want to take risks. You know, you want to hurt yourself if necessary, because that's the only way you're going to learn. Oh, so magic gets rid of the blocks in your energy profile, which stop you from being a star, basically. And also, you know, you have to know what it is that you need to do. You don't just think, you know, oh, I think I think I'm in love, or I think I got a good business plan, or I think I got a good invention. Don't think. No, you know it. Okay, you know it. But also, sometimes you have to set up something because you don't know where it's going to go. It's like Facebook. I mean, you know, Mark said, well, I don't know where this is going. You know, that's why we can't charge money for it. That's why we can't put you know, because we don't know what we've got here. You know, but he knew something. He knew he had something in Facebook, but he didn't know quite what it was until much later. And now he knows what he's got. The greatest social network has ever been created. It's like the wheel. It's the wheel of social networks, and you know, a lot of heartache and a lot of work and a lot of overcoming fear went into that project. But now you can see where the flow of the universe has created. I mean, had led Facebook to a certain place. Now, you know, like everything has its ups and downs. Is it vulnerable? Yes. Is it going to collapse? Could do. You know, is it going to run out of steam? Is it going to get into trouble with the feds? Yeah, already has. Just like Spotify. So what? You know, this is the rough and tumble of the world. Okay, but you're in the world, but not of the world. But you're not going to be an ascetic, and you're not going to be a libertine. You're just going to do your true will, and you're going to see where that's going to lead you. And where it's going to lead you, who knows? But you're going to be happy in yourself.